Good morning. I'm going to take you around on a tour of my garden as I talk to you about seasons in Israel and how that they are not like you consider a season from a country that has a uh, four season year, I guess. So let's go. Pause it. Okay, I've got you in my backyard and just show you my garden as I talk to you about the weather. So this is the back garden. This is where we have our little apartment that we lease for tourism. Right over there, and that's my barley project I have hanging on the fence. I need to take it down. Right over there is the wild wheat. It has not been watered. It was planted in the 7th biblical month. Before we look at the garden, I want to show you the skies. So this is April 24th. And one of the big oppositions by some people is that there's not supposed to be any rain after the biblical New Year because, I don't know, that's what they've decided that they need as an indicator that the first month of the year has come. Well, within this lunar month particularly, we have had rain on March 18th. We have rain on April 10th. We had rain on April 16th. We had a thunderstorm on April 17th. But I'm not talking about sprinkles. I'm talking about rain. We had a thunderstorm on April 17th. Actually, I got that on video someplace. And we're looking like rain today. And it's a balmy 61 degrees. I put my winter clothes, my cold clothes up for the cold season. My winter clothes I brought from the States. I put them up, and I'm thinking, maybe I shouldn't have been so quick to put them up. But we are threatening rain today on April 24th, which for my calendar is the second month of the year. For many calendars, it's the first month of the biblical year. But I honestly believe that Elohim is doing this because he is trying to break the theology that rain or lack of rain equates the beginning or the ending of a year. We have had rain throughout the last 2 months. So whether you believe it's the first month of the year or the second month of the biblical year, we have had rain throughout both of them. Yes, it has been a lessening, but rain nonetheless. Okay, so let's just walk through the garden. So there's a word in Hebrew. It's called, that the King James translated into the English word summer, and the Hebrew word is called kites. It's my tomato plant. He's putting on little blooms I can see this morning. Yay! And the word kites in Hebrew is what, like I said, they called summer. On my pepper plant, he wintered over. He's blooming. Yay! And so when we look at the etymology of the Hebrew word, which Hebrew words are all a noun and always describe a characteristic or an action about the noun. It's another pepper plant that wintered over. And so when we look at the word kites, everything kites has to do with cutting, harvesting, or harvested. There's a little, I've still got lettuce, which is for me miraculous. Eggplants were wintered over and they've got blooms set on. And so the word for kites is tied directly to the work of harvesting and the produce of harvest, of the harvested, So we could say, oh, I harvested my garden this year. Well, that would be a derivative of the word kites in Hebrew. Okay, over here's the old bomb shelter from the First World War here in Israel. It's the last one they built in this old way with a blast wall in front. And then I want to use it for a cellar. And then a bomb shelter down in there. But I'm going to use that for a cellar. I'll be the only one in Israel with a cellar, and it's a historical bomb shelter. So anyway, so that's what the word kites means. And then when we look at the word winter, the word is chorif. And chorif means to strip, to denude. Neither one of these words has anything to do with climate, rain, lack of rain, sunshine, dryness, nothing. There's my little Canaan dog, Beulah, get out of the garden. None of them, neither one of them has anything to do with an atmospheric condition. Period. Zeo, that's it. Horeth, last year, and I'm going to be checking again this year, Horeth was the time that, let me turn you back around, go over here to my gate, and I'll be speaking on the scriptures of this more, hopefully in the coming week. It's the time when those deep-rooted roots over there in the olive side of the property, they're not going to let go of their root system until the 7th month. I was out there trying to plant the wheat just before the 7th month. I was pulling and tugging and tugging and pulling. I was not going to be able to pull up anything out of the earth before the 7th month. And then it was like a switch. In the biblical 7th month, I was able to come out here and pull up, strip off, denude all of those plants out of that earth. I used a pitchfork. I just lightly stepped on the soil, turned it over, made little openings in the earth, and I sowed that wild wheat over there, and then I stomped it in the earth and have done nothing else to it. It's not watered. It hasn't been fertilized. It's just been over there, and God's been taking care of it once I planted it. But Horeth means the stripping and the denuding, and that can happen in the 7th month. So that has nothing to do with whether or not it's going to rain. Okay, let's go back to the garden. This is my big old olive tree. Right now I got a mess. I've been planting lots. Big old olive tree in the backyard. Okay. So my papaya tree, I'm finally starting to get some yellowish fruit down here on the bottom. That overwintered and did just wonderfully. And now this season, this is going to ripen. I've already got new blooms, you can see up in there on the top of the tree. It's a pomegranate tree I planted. Oh my goodness. A big old aloe over there. This is that Jerusalem sage. The way I've planted my garden is the way I see nature doing it here. I don't plant just one section of whatever, corn, one section of tomatoes. I've got a tomato, there's corn, there's okra, there's squash, there's watermelon, there's nasturtiums over here. It's planted like a forest because I get better pest control. Okay, so pretty much over here, everything wintered over except for that big head of lettuce right there. And you know, this is why I disperse everything through the garden, because I don't need to use any kind of weed control. There's a Swiss chard, there's lettuce over there, and there's about 18 inches, not 18 inches, about 8 centimeters of cedar mulch on the earth here. Another tomato plant there. Okay, let's go in here. And I've got Jerusalem artichoke in here. I've got carrots and leaf lettuce there, carrots over here. My pepper plant overwintered. He's already putting on little peppers. Here's another eggplant that's overwintered. And he's got little eggplants all in through there. And there's some more corn right there. You got to be careful where you step. This overwintered. My goodness, my sweet potato vines overwintered. They're decorative. Just my lemon tree. Now, when I moved into the property, the only living trees were this lemon tree and this olive tree. And I had, can you see that stump right there? You see that dead stump? All of the trees were standing, limbs and everything, just like that dead stump right there. And so I cut this one. That one was dead. That one was dead. That one was dead. That's a lovely orange tree. We got 3 oranges out of that last year. A lot more blooms this year. This one was standing dead, just like I described. And that one was standing dead. So, following the little whisper in my ear from our Abba in heaven, I laid drip irrigation down before I put the mulch down. And these trees, see that drip irrigation right there? Under the mulch, can you see it right there, that little hose? These trees have sprung back to life, just sprung back to life. And another thing I have done back here, and we'll get more to seasons, that teaching I will do. I hope I can get to start slowing down, but there's lots of things I wanted to get good and rooted. And I thought I was behind the 8 ball, but I got a reprieve with this cold weather. Get good and rooted before the super bad heat kicks in. Okay, so go back here. Okay, this is my terrible corner. I'm going to move. I've got a shed over there behind. I don't know if you can see that tan wall right there above that papaya tree or pawpaw tree. I'm gonna get a storage shed. I'm going to move back here because it's too obtuse over there. I work over here, and that's where my storage shed's going to go. Everything will go inside of it. I've got 2 more bins I'm getting ready to set up right here, and then I've got all my composting going on right here. Turn this way. I don't like to waste things, so back here I made a makeshift bird feeder, and all the seeds that the parrots I rescued do not eat come out here, and the wild birds are fed. And they thank me with lots of fertilizer, and they get on the ground and they scratch stuff in. Made them a little watering stand here. And this is a back view from my garden. Now remember, this tree was here and this tree was here, and there was nothing in between, and that was 1 year ago. Isn't that a beautiful garden? And Abba has been so faithful as I've tried to follow his voice on the land and determine his calendar. Beulah, you don't need to help. Out. And follow his calendar. He has just exploded this property. I haven't even used any fertilizer. Just haven't even used any fertilizer. Lots more things coming up. There'll be corn, little groups of corn dispatched out through there. Okay, so that's it. But I just wanted to show you, we're approaching the end of the 2nd month, if that's your calendar, the end of the 1st month, if that's your calendar. And we may very well get some rain today. I don't expect it to be heavy rain, but I expect to see some showers. And it has been heavy rain when it has rained until this point. Okay, now coming back into the front property, which I'm still working on developing. This year there'll be a lot of trees that go in, is my herb garden. There's so many things in there: basil, Mexican sagebush, oregano, that's an aloe, another decorative sweet potato vine. If you need ground covering, man, these guys will take over and cover everything. Lemon geranium right here, Syrian oregano, Syrian basil, pepper, aloe. I'm sorry, not pepper. Potato, aloe, potato, curry, and then a row of lemongrass.